club itself was founded by a guy called Martin Ingle in 1969. He's member number 1 and is still a member of the club to this day, and it has a Gilben GT and used to compete in it himself. And obviously over the years the club's been through its ups and downs and got where we are today with 64 cars present here today. When I was a 17-year-old I was taken for a ride in one that belonged to a photographer at a wedding reception, and I was just stunned about what a lovely looking car it was, and it had this huge wooden dashboard with thousands of dials which looked rather like an aeroplane. So basically, that was it. So and so the affection started then. I had various other cars, but started getting seriously into Gilberns 15 years ago, and been up to my eyes in them ever since.
I say, well, this is basically, it's the Mark III up until this pillar, and then they decided they wanted extra room for the passenger and bigger boot because the boot's quite cramped. So this, just as the 1973, where the company was finding it financially embarrassing, let's say, yeah. They decided to make a mock-up of this to see if it would attract attention to the public, and but unfortunately the company just faded away and died because of financial problems.
So this was the only one they made?
And this is the only one they... It didn't even get made, actually.
Yeah,
it was just a mock-up. You see that picture, it was just a shell, and it didn't have an engine, didn't have a floor, didn't have any windows. The company didn't receive a ship, and this was stuck in a studio's, unloved.
So, if anything, this was the last Gilben.
This was the last one, yeah.
Last Gilben of...
That's right, the last Gilben, last Prince of Wales, as we call it. Yeah, so I said it's been, but I knew several people who owned it because I've been in the owners club, because I've got another one, a Mark II.
Okay.
And they never actually got onto building it. It was just because there was no floor and there was nothing of this, and they didn't really have the technical skill. I decided I must get on with it, otherwise it's going to be lost forever.
Well, a lot of the people who are members are actually Welsh people, and therefore it's the only car that's been produced in Wales so far, and it's quite nice to have your home built car with the dragon motive on the bonnet sort of thing. And the other thing about it is that if you've got lots of money you can go and buy a Ferrari or an Aston Martin. But if you want to buy a Gilbern, it's not that simple. There's only so many left, and you've got to be involved with the club to be able to find those cars. I mean, they built just over 1,000, and we think about 600 survive worldwide, which is quite a high return.
Well, this is virtually the only Welsh car they ever built, the Gilben, isn't it? They didn't. Not many. The Welsh didn't make many cars. The Devra and Imp, but that never really got the big. But this was their biggest car maker, wasn't it? And it's quite an achievement for two guys, after the war, to build a car and keep it going for as long as it did. And it's just part of history, isn't it? So you want to keep as much, and just to have a unique, different looking car is nice today, because a lot of the cars out there look very similar, don't they? But I mean, when you see a Gilben, you think, oh, that's a Gilben. It's quite an unusual car.
Definitely.